We'll call the regular governing board meeting of the Lammersville Unified School District Board to order at 7 p.m. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. At this time, please take a moment to silence or turn off your cell phones. For any of you here that would like to address the board about a specific agenda item and/or during public comment, please fill out a blue comment card so we know when to call upon you. I believe there are students from Altamont Elementary School here to give a presentation. Ms. Bogle, if you or one of your students could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Good evening. My name is Inaya Alibai, and I'm here with my Vice President, Ewan Hambley, and we're a part of Altamont's Associated Student Body. I would like to request everyone to please join me to stand for the flag salute. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Lemons, trustees, Clerk Olson, and Dr. Nicholas, it is our pleasure to be here with you tonight. We are going to be talking to you about our system at Altamont, which includes a program called Second Step. I've brought Ms. Bordy and Ms. Goins here because they are two of the teachers that have really embraced the program and really exemplify it in their classrooms. So Second Step is taught at Altamont in grades TK through 8th. We teach Second Step because we believe that the skills that we're going to tell you about in just a minute are essential for learning. If students don't have these baseline skills, learning doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen very easily. These are also the skills that 21st century employers are looking for today. So those are the reasons we are invested in teaching Second Step. So a broad overview of what we teach in Second Step are skills for learning, empathy, emotion management, and problem solving.
Some of the skills for learning in Second Step that the kids really focus on is the first one is listening. So they even have hand signals. They listen. We talk about you're focusing on the speaker, using your eyes and your ears. The next one is focusing your attention. That's using your eyes and ears, and your brain. The two that we really emphasize a lot is using self-talk. So using self-talk, I tell my students, like, you guys are your cheerleader, right? Like, in your head, you need to have positive self-talk and cheer yourself on, which also ties into our one of our character traits we use is perseverance. So using self-talk also helps you persevere. And then the last skill for learning that Second Step has is being assertive. And it's talking about using a strong voice, using a strong voice to ask what you need, right? Like if they need a lunch card, if they want to join in a game, if they have a problem, they need to be assertive and tell about telling what they need using a calm, firm voice. So these are the 4 skills for learning that Second Step focuses on.
And we actually have a clip of Megan teaching Second Step in action. I don't know if I can navigate to the clip. The link where it says see it in action.
Okay, so boys and girls, we have talked about 3 of our skills for learning so far. Who could tell us one of the skills that we've learned? Vikram.
Focus attention.
Okay, let's everybody focus your attention. Focus your attention. We have learned, what's another one? Obi.
We've learned to use self-talk.
We have learned to use self-talk, right? Ignoring distractions, right here. Using self-talk, ignoring distractions. What is the last one we've learned so far? Sadie.
Listening.
Oh, that's an important one too. We listen with our ears. Eyes and brain we learned, right? We listen with our ears, eyes, and our brain. Okay? So boys and girls, today we're going to focus on being assertive. This is a very important one for you guys to understand. Okay? So
Okay, so the traditional classroom tells us we only care about academics, but we have learned, especially in middle school, I teach 7th and 8th, that the modern classroom, we're going to include academics as well as their social emotional learning, because as Mrs. Bogle said, if we don't access that, they're not going to access the materials. So we do academics and mental health, and then after the pandemic, we really saw such a need for that. The kids were coming back saying, I don't know how to talk to people anymore. So second step is giving us that tool to have those relationships. It has a lot of really fun advisory activities, so they're really engaged, not realizing that they are using these tools or learning them. And then we have lessons on once or twice a week that are the core of it, that really teaches them the tools and how to use the coping skills that we are teaching them, because they are going to need those things later in life.
I watched Marcy teach a wonderful second step lesson the other week, and it started with the kids just on a tarp, and they had to problem solve a way to get everybody on the tarp to the tarp being completely flipped over and the kids on the other side of the tarp. So it was really just a problem solving activity. And as they moved into the classroom, you could see that Marcy was presenting on her screen, is it important to speak respectfully to your peers in situations like this? And then the kids had a discussion. So it all tied together very nicely. In addition to teaching second step, we do character counts, but you'll notice that I added a little plus there because we have added in the character traits of gratitude and resilience. And perseverance. Thank you, Megan. In addition to just focusing on the traits each month, the teachers in every classroom create a rubric with their students that focuses on that trait. So in August, we focused on citizenship, and you can see that the students listed what that would look like and not look like in the classroom and on the playground. Based upon those lessons in the character trait, the teacher or the students select a student to have lunch with the principal. It's a really fun day. We do it about the last Friday of the month, and each of those students gets to come up on the stage, and we have pizza and carrots and juice and cookies. It's just a great way to celebrate them and recognize their hard work. We also give Panther Pride tickets out, which are all around campus, and we give those for those same character traits. Kids love them. We draw them out every week, and they get prizes for them. In addition to those things, we have something called the Panther Pride News, which is student created, and focus is on weekly student recognition. One of the things that we noticed was that middle school, TK through 5, we had all of these wonderful recognitions for students, and then they got to middle school, and those kind of halted, and really the interactions they ever had with the office were a little bit more negative. And so what we started doing was recognizing a middle school student of the week from every classroom, and we highlight them on the Panther Pride News, and we reward them with passes to Mountain House High School sporting events or treats, something like that. It also recognizes our ST Math graduates, IRE graduates, and Guru graduates, and the Panther Pride ticket holders. So I did include a clip there in case you guys want to watch it later on. It's just a fun way that we highlight students every week. Do you guys have any questions? No?
Thank you very much.
Welcome. All right.
So thank you very much to Altamont Elementary, Ms. Bogle, and students. You're more than welcome to stay if you would like. However, if you have better things to do with your time, and I know when I was in school I would have, I'll go ahead and not continue. I'll give you a minute to leave without it, and so you don't feel like you're interrupting the meeting. And have a great night. Thank you very much. Item 2. As many of you know, Mike Herron, a longtime teacher and union leader that recently retired after a long and distinguished career here at Lammersville, has passed away. At this time, I would request a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Item 3, roll call, please.
Lisa Boulay.
Here.
Colin Clements.
Here.
Benita Daniel.
Absent.
Stephanie Olson. Here. David Pombo.
Here.
Satya Seelam.
Here.
Thank you very much. Item 4, approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item 5, committee reports. A, District Advisory Committee. Trustee Boulay.
Nothing to report.
Item B, District English Language Advisory Committee.
I'll take that. The committee met on August 25th. This was the initial meeting for the 22-23 academic year. And at this meeting, Director Brusatil introduced the committee administrative representatives at each of the sites. She also talked about the process for identifying English learners, the program for supporting English learners, as well as the end-of-year assessment to evaluate progress. It was really a great meeting, and the room was full. There were lots of parents and families there as well. And they were given an opportunity to ask questions so that they could learn more about the program. The next meeting will be on October 27th at Cordis in the MPR. And at this meeting, it will actually be partly a celebration of those students who will be reclassified as fluent English learners. That's the end of my report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Boulay. Item C, Education Committee, Trustee Pombo.
Nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Item D, Facilities Committee, Trustee Olson.
The next Facilities Committee meeting will be September 22nd at 6:30 p.m. here in this room.
Thank you very much. Item E, Policy Committee, Trustee Boulay.
We should see a batch of policies come to the next board meeting.
Thank you very much. Item F, Safety Committee, Trustee Pombo.
The next Safety Committee meeting will be held on September 14th at 3:45, and I believe it will be here in the district office.
Thank you very much. Item G, Wellness Committee, Trustee Olson.
Nothing to report.
Thank you very much. Item 6, Governing Board Reports. Student Board Member Seelam.
MHHS had its annual Aloha Rally on Friday, August 5th. It was a grand welcome back to school, and on August 30th, we had the annual club fair. There were over 100 clubs this year, so it was great to see all the students exploring their interests and explore all that our school has to offer. And this week, all of the outdoor sporting events were canceled due to the extreme temperature, but our fall season sports started off their season right with a win. And our homecoming parade is coming up in 2 weeks. It's on Friday, September 23rd, so everyone is excited for the community to come together for this event. And the high school dance is on Saturday the 24th, so the MHHS leadership students are working very hard to make the homecoming week as best as it can. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Trustee Olson.
On August 18th, I believe it was August 18th, I attended the back to school night at Mountain House High School, and it was great to see such a wonderful turnout, and it was great to experience what the students go through getting from class to class. And it was done exceptionally well and informative, even for the brief moments you could pop into each class. I thought it was well done, and so that was wonderful, and it was just wonderful to see some of the new programs that are being added at the high school, visiting the orchestra room, for example, and seeing that programs, expand. I also attended several girls' water polo games, home games against Tracy and Bear Creek, and I also caught some of the boys' teams, but mostly I caught the girls' teams. And it was great to see the improvement in the boys' teams and the enthusiasm of the girls' teams. A lot of them are brand new players, and they're working very hard. And I'm grateful for the people that stepped up to coach, so our students will have someone there. I also attended both home football games, JV and varsity, and it was great to see Mountain House High School get the wins, and they did very well. And even more exciting was to attend the first ever freshman game that was held on last Thursday. to see the program grow and have a freshman team is something that I think is to be commended for those involved with the program and getting a lot of students to have those opportunities to have a team experience, which I think enhances their high school education. And I just wanted to conclude my report by thanking the school foundations. I don't know if it appears this way to anybody else, but to me it really seems like they're in full force, full steam ahead, doing a lot of wonderful activities and fundraising. And after the 2 years of kind of stifled time of COVID, it's great to see them out and about, and I would encourage everyone to pay attention to their calendars and support their events when possible. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Olson. Trustee Boulay.
Thank you. On August 18th, I went to the high school back to school night as well, and I have to agree with Trustee Olson's comments about how well organized it was, how well coordinated it was, and fun to move from classroom to classroom with each of the bells. It was also nice to meet new teachers and to see returning teachers. On August 19th, I attended the first home football game as well. I enjoyed not only the game, but the cheerleaders, the band, and the dance team. On August 25th and the 31st, I was watching the girls' tennis team. They're strong again this year, so hopefully we'll have another champion season. On August 25th, as I stated earlier, I attended the DLAC meeting. On August 26th, I was at the varsity high school football game, but this time I was on the dark side, selling concessions on the visitor side. But that was all in support of our high school seniors, and it was a successful night. On August 31st, I went to 3 water polo games. I saw both the varsity games and the JV girls games, and they are looking strong, and boy, did that look like a refreshing event on a hot afternoon. And then finally, earlier today, I went to the celebration of life for Mike Heron with Mr. Pombo. It was a beautiful ceremony, and it was clear that he was a mentor to so many students within our district. In fact, there were some of his former students there at the celebration earlier today, and they're young adults now. So he made an impact, and he leaves behind a legacy. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Trustee Boulay. Trustee Pombo.
On August 19th, I attended the varsity football game, and it was fun to watch them manhandle Florin. On the 26th, I attended the JV and varsity football games, and both of our teams were victorious. On August 31st, I attended girls tennis, girls varsity water polo, boys varsity water polo, and girls JV water polo. And as Trustee Boulay mentioned, it looked quite refreshing, especially after watching the tennis players sweating it out in the sun. On September 1st, I attended the first ever Frosh football game along with some of my fellow board members. And earlier today, along with Trustee Boulay, I attended the celebration of life for Mike Heron. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Pombo. I have a short report. I did attend the football games on August 26th. It was great to be back out there. And I wanted to echo something that Trustee Olson said and thank the parent-teacher organizations and parent-teacher associations, because we have both of them. My wife and I are really, really, really looking forward to fundraising events and, the carnivals and as soon as we can get the auctions, as soon as we can get that started up is going to be fantastic, because Trustee Pombo and I have not bid against each other in a bidding war since COVID began. And so I think we're both ready to bid against each other. So we can't wait. Thank you very much for all you do. Item 7, receiving of public comments. The entire board appreciates hearing from members of the community and public at large. To facilitate this, the board shall give members of the public an opportunity to address the board either before or during the board's consideration of each agenda item, Code Section 54954.3. At a time so designated on the agenda, members of the public may also bring before the board matters that are not listed on the agenda of a regular meeting. The board may refer such a matter to the superintendent or designee or take it under advisement, but shall not take action at that time. The board may place the matter on an agenda of a subsequent meeting for discussion or action. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda item or non-agenda item. The board shall limit to the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. I haven't received any blue comment cards. They're certainly not required. Is there anybody present that would like to address the board at this time? Okay, then with the board's permission, I'm going to waive the reading of the remainder of the instructions for public comment. Item 8. Consent items for consideration. Item A, governing board meeting minutes from regular agenda meeting on, regular meeting on August 17th. Item B, contracts under $50,000. Item C, ratification of the 2022-2023 new hires. Item D, ratification of resignations. Item E, ratification of final budget revisions for June 2022. Item F, updated 2022-2023 fundraisers. Item G, ratification of school-sponsored overnight trips. And item H, acceptance of donations, $2,000 from Colin Clements towards the Mountain House High School Scholarship Fund to be distributed over the next 2 years. Would any board member prefer to pull any of the consent items out for separate comment or question? Okay.
Move to approve consent items.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Any additional discussion or comment? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Trustee Olson, as the board clerk, would you please do the honors?
Yes, I'd like to welcome the following new hires to the Lammersville Unified School District family. Sama Armenius, English teacher. Sharon Avanush, high school clerk. Jeremy Blackburn, CTE digital arts teacher. Fatima Chawala, special education teacher. Elvira Cisneros, self-contained classroom teacher. Amy Curtis, special education teacher. Satya Priya Dasyarthli, special education paraprofessional, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing names. I'm having a hard time seeing because I wear contacts and not glasses, so I apologize. Elise Alexandria Green, social science teacher. Preeti Gupta, self-contained classroom teacher. Jennifer Iverson, 7th, 8th math science teacher. Padmathy Jawahar, CTE computer science teacher. Sayla King, self-contained classroom teacher. Sukmani Marak, self-contained classroom teacher. Salisha McKenzie, school psychologist. Yin U, math teacher. Saganthala Selvam, high school clerk. Grayson Serrano, social science teacher. Hiral Shah, special education paraprofessional. Carrie Starling, self-contained classroom teacher. Krishnavini Viranan, instructional aide. Rekhash Ranjani Vima Geethamratham, special education instructional aide. Lindsay Wernholm, health science teacher. And Trishana Wilson, self-contained classroom teacher. I'd like to welcome them all to our district.
Thank you very much, Trustee Olson. Glad I did not have to read those names. Item 9, District Administrative Report. A, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Nicholas?
Yeah, just a couple of quick items, and then we have a short presentation. First and foremost, we want to call out our HR department, who's doing all the hiring and all the processes. At the end of a pandemic, in the middle of a teacher and staffing shortage, where you have growth in the district of well over 500 students, It is an epic journey and an epic effort. And so kudos to Trustee Olson for reading the names, and kudos to the HR team for bringing them to her. So well done. Second of all, construction at Evelyn Costa is rolling. And I was out there today for a construction meeting, and I have a couple of pictures to share. We're getting very close to going vertical. Speaking of vertical, I climbed up on this white thing to take the picture, and I didn't get hurt, so I just want everybody to appreciate that moment. This is when they have the concrete on the ground. The next thing is they'll go up. There's to the left in the next slide, I think it is. Yeah, that one still has to be poured. Once those are poured, we'll start to go vertical in our two-story K-8 school and 9th school here in our great district. And then finally, in 2019, the conversation around the district office and around the district was, we've been growing rapidly. We keep building new schools. We keep adding large numbers of new students and new staff members and new teachers. And in spite of all that, we built a bunch of systems, and we did a bunch of district-wide initiatives. And it felt like we were at that moment where we were really getting ready to go to the next level. And that was like in the fall of 2019. And we were really excited about the prospects of what we were going to be talking about and doing in that year. Who would have thought a few months later we'd be shutting down the district and beginning a 2.5-year journey with COVID. But the presentation tonight is really about our academic program. And I thought it was important that we kind of go back to that moment in time in 2019 and bring it forward here to September of 2022, which is that through the hard work of teachers and staff, through excellent leadership of site administrators, an exceptional journey that parents and their children took, our district leadership, our board leadership. What I can tell you is one of the aspects of this presentation is to say, in spite of all the bad articles that you're hearing about the terrible outcomes, the learning loss, test scores plummeting, not in our district. Our scores went up. That's right. Our scores went up. And so I asked Assistant Superintendent Sharp to give a presentation tonight to talk a little bit about the big picture, some initiatives we have planned for this year to get back to where we were at, to take it to the next level. And so I'm happy to have her share that information.
Thank you. Good evening, President Clements, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. So as Dr. Nicholas said, I'm going to be talking about the academic program in 2022-23 going forward, but in doing that, we're going to take a step back in some areas to see what accomplishments our students in our school and our district has achieved over the last few years. So we have 3 goals, our LCAP goals that really encompass all of the programs and opportunities that we afford our students at Lammersville. The systematic closure of opportunity gaps, instruction and curriculum efficacy, and 21st century outcomes and stakeholder communication. And so while I can't talk about embargo data at this point, that will come at a later time, I can give you an example of what our numbers may look like when I'm able to present those to you later. We will compare to 2018-19 when we're looking at the data, because we did not have CASP scores for 19-20 or 2021 for ELA or math. So keep that in mind. We will have scores for CAST. So our comparisons will be between 2018-19 and 2021. This is an example of what English language arts might look like. Here's an example of what our math scores might look like. And then science, you can see we have 3 years. So what I can tell you without hesitation is we went up. We grew, we did not go down. You can look at 18-19 where we were ELA 70% advanced or proficient, to a 21-22 estimate at this point, not final, 73, so that's a 3% growth. In math, 2018-19, we were at 66% advanced and proficient, 21-22 at 68, so 2% growth. And in science, a phenomenal increase, 2018-19 to growing 6% in a pandemic, 2021, to 21-22, 55%. So while those are not official numbers for 21-22, it may alter slightly, but whether it alters slightly or at all, it will still be a growth number. So 2021, as I said, we're going to step back a minute and talk about what the district did to pivot in this immediate response and proactive approach to safety and instruction. We brought in bipolar ionization, expanded our summer school, developed and implemented an online learning program, while at the same time providing in the moment professional development for teachers and coordinators in continuing our effective instruction online versus in the classroom. Then we get to now, we're at our 22-23 reboot, right? So we spent all this time to get ourselves geared up for the pandemic and what we were doing online to then shift back to say, okay, let's get back to where we were before the pandemic started. Looking at the high school, there's a focus on equitable outcomes. We're looking at those students who struggle and who need support and what kind of supports we have in place for them. We brought in an extra coordinator who not only is helping with instructional strategies and support in the math class in Math 1 and the math support classes, both Math 1 support and Math 2 support, but also supporting the high school admin team in the case management of those struggling students. We increased our nursing support, repurposed psychologist services. They have a wellness center at the high school who now also has a restorative justice specialist there to support our safety and wellness committees, and the exciting piece as well as expanding our music opportunities. So I know I'll have more to talk about that at a later board meeting, I'm sure. So all that's kind of what our mad scramble over the pandemic, right? To the normal before the pandemic, and now here we are. So back to our goals. We have our 3 LCAP goals. First goal, systematic closure of the opportunity gap. And our district initiative to address that is strengthening our professional learning communities through the use of the impact team model. In goal 2, instruction and curriculum efficacy, our initiative there is great first-time instruction, getting back to what we did so well before the pandemic and reminding ourselves those great strategies that worked and moving forward with those to support instruction in the classroom. And finally, goal 3, 21st century outcomes and stakeholder communication. That's all about equitable outcomes, really analyzing and taking a deep dive into the programs we have and the programs that we have to support students and if they're doing what we're expecting them to do. We're going to take an honest look at them and see if they're doing the service that we need them to do for the students, and if not, finding out what will work. So now back to some highlights. We have highlights to celebrate at the district, student and club level. Here in 2019, we earned the California Exemplary District Award. In 2019, our Walking and Talking program, which is our professional learning or professional development opportunities for teachers, won the 2019 Golden Bell Award. Our Safety and School Culture won the 2020 Golden Bell Award. And our Early College Pathway won the 2017 CSBA, 2018 NSBA Award. And more than just the award, it's the reward that we get seeing our MHH graduates leave school with an AA and an AS. So 73 students earned that. Now taking a look at our students in the clubs and what kind of awards and recognitions they earned. And there is a lot here, so I'm going to kind of clump them together. We have our students in HOSA, DECA, Skills USA, Speech Debate, all winning regional, state, and national competition awards. Then we have our Science Olympiad, Marching Band, Hackathon, all winning regional, some winning state as well. So our students really walking away with some incredible recognition. And as you can see, all of the championships for our sports, including down at the bottom, tennis, left-hand corner, 2021-22 girls and boys also received section championships. So now taking a look at our K-12 program. It emphasizes multiple layers of educational experiences. Starting at the K-8, those programs are designed to feed to the high school program for continuity. We have our high-quality academic experiences, multiple and various academic extracurricular opportunities. And we have a full palette of extracurricular VAPA and athletic opportunities for our students to choose from. Taking a look at some of our programs now. We have our career technical education. Students can choose from biomedical science to dance to media arts. Extracurricular academic opportunities. There are 82 clubs, and it sounds like from what I'm hearing from the high school and counting, so I heard 100 from you. that students can choose from. So you can see included in here is GATE we offer for our 4th through 8th graders, but excuse me, but lots of opportunities for our students to choose in a variety. We have performing arts opportunities for students, dance team, brigade marching band, drama, and then many athletic opportunities. So what's our goal? We know that we want well-rounded students, that we want them to be well-rounded through an academic program that allows not only for academic opportunity, but also for those extracurricular opportunities that help them grow beyond the classroom. You can also see that's important to colleges as well. As you can see, our Mountain House High School graduates have attended over 100 universities, and this could be much larger than what we know because it is self-disclosed by the students. But you can see here some of the top that we have: Caltech, MIT, Berkeley, UCLA, UC San Diego, NYU, and Cornell. We have a graduation rate of 99%, and of our graduates from the class of 2022, 66% of them were eligible for a 4-year college. So taking it back again to our goals, we know that the most important thing for us right now is the achievement of our students, both academic and, as was talked about by Altamont, the social emotional too, so the whole child. And we can do that through our goals as they encompass the plans that we have to support students and the focus areas that we know we need to have to get them where we need to be. And with that, are there any questions?
I don't have questions, but I do have a comment.
Yes.
That was an inspiring presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it really makes me proud to be a board member sitting up here because of the great work we do. So thanks to everybody who has a hand in making that happen.
Yeah, I would echo that. And I just want to say I really appreciate that our staff and faculty is always looking for opportunities to make sure every student has something that piques their interest and that they can be involved in and excel at, whether it's academics, the clubs that do so well in competitions, speech, debate, HOSA, DECA, or just a regular school club like Dungeons and Dragons. I think they have it all. And I think that's really important to help all of our students feel included and like they have a place in this district, which serves the purpose of, benefiting their mental health. And so I just wanted to echo what Trustee Boulay said and appreciate the efforts of everyone that never rests. It's like a train that never stops. You're always working and striving, and we appreciate those efforts.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, of course.
From a student point of view, we're so fortunate to receive all these opportunities, and I just would like to thank everybody for their efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I think my fellow board members pretty much said it all. I will just echo their sentiments. I am and always have been very proud to serve on this board and the work that we do here in this district.
I'm gonna echo that and say that as you were kind of articulating the scores and the fact that there wasn't learning loss over the pandemic, in my brain, the bumper sticker that says, if you can read this, thank a teacher. I'm literally thinking, if you serve on a board for a district that not only did not have learning loss over the pandemic, because that's all you read about in the papers, if you are on a board of a district that not only did not have learning loss, but had learning advancement during the pandemic, thank your teachers. And because, everybody involved is dedicated, but, the hands-on teaching the kids is the most important part of what we do. And then you talked about Science Olympiad and Science Fair and all of those things. I have to point out that in 2012, which was a couple of years before I got on the board, my boys, Caleb and Chase, were in the grade where they could team up, and they actually qualified for state. And I'd never seen anyone at Lammersville do that in all the years that we were going. I think it was like, 7 years. And I asked the question of the county leadership. I said, how often has Lammersville gone to state? And they said, this is the first time in the records that we have, this is the first time that Lammersville has gone to state. And you roll the clock forward, and I don't want to lie, but I swear I remember sometime over the course of the last 4 years that Lammersville closed out state. If you were in San Joaquin County and you weren't in our district, you didn't go to state. And that kind of advancement shows how much better, you guys never rest on your laurels. You're always looking to make it better. And thank you so much. And I would ask the board for a consensus. This is great information, but all we read out there in the newspaper, online, when you open it up, talks about districts that are struggling. Districts, during the pandemic, all they talked about was districts that took more than 4 weeks to get regular access to teachers, right? Like, you're not even talking about online learning. You're talking about regular access to teachers. It took them more than 4 weeks. And yet we were up and running. Granted, it wasn't perfect, but we were up and running with an online hybrid learning environment within 72 hours, 3 school days. And that kind of information is not really out there. So I would like to ask a consensus of the board that we request the district to take this information and package it up and provide it to Mountain House Matters so that the people in the community get the facts about what's going on in their district.
I think that's not a bad idea. In fact, Mountain House Matters, I think, has in the past, at least the past couple of years, won a Golden Quill Award for the California School Board Association. So, I think it's a good opportunity for them again to try again for another Golden Quill Award.
Exactly. As much as I would like to say that all the members of the community watch school board meetings so they know all this, I'm not really that naive.
No, and I think it's a great idea. And it actually goes with LCAP goal number 3, stakeholder engagement.
Oh, high five on that.
So just point of clarification, it's the board's consensus and direction that an article be written that encapsulates Assistant Superintendent Sharp's presentation submitted to the Mountain House Matters for publishing.
To the extent it's not going to take, to the extent it's not going to be undue pressure on the staff, but you've already accumulated all the data. So writing it up, as a press release or whatever you call it, I don't know. But it seems like the community would benefit from knowing that information.
So either us writing it or having Mr. Brian Harris write it with facts that we give him. However that works. Like I just think that this is relevant information for the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item B, 2022-2023 academic program. Staff report?
Yes. We want to thank Assistant Superintendent Sharp for her presentation. That was it.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You went from A to B.
I know, I screwed
Sorry,
up. My
I
bad, my bad.
apologize. Okay. Item C, district maintenance and operation report. Mr. LeGrand, you've grown.
Board President Clements, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. Mr. LeGrand sends his regrets he could not attend tonight, so I will give his report in lieu of him. He has a brief report tonight. The extreme heat this week has been very hard on our HVAC equipment. We've received about a dozen HVAC calls, and we have our contractor on site. We had him on site Tuesday and today. In terms of priority, just so everybody knows, we start with the little kids, work our way up. District office and warehouse are last. This afternoon, Jimmy attended the construction meeting at Costa. Yesterday, he walked Lammersville, Wickland, Bethany, and Cuesta with the door company to look at some modification of entrances at those sites. Last Thursday, he walked Bethany and Cuesta with myself, Gloria and Bernie, to look at potential locations for new storage freezers at those sites. And last Thursday, it is bi-weekly meeting with the vice principal of Mountain House High School to talk about campus facilities use and whatnot. The solar installation project, Cuesta, is currently in a holding pattern. They're awaiting the arrival of the new switchgear. The current estimated ship date has now been pushed to 11/18, November 18th. Mountain House High School, the contractor is currently on site and working on installing the new Christie boxes. Inspections are being coordinated with the IOR for trenching and slurry sealing. That will happen this Friday. Next week, the contractor will begin pulling wire to all the inverter locations to the new switchgear and whatnot. That'll take about 2 weeks. The utility shutdown has been requested for Saturday, October 29th, to connect the main electrical panel at that time. The expectation that everything will be completed by Friday, November 18th, which is right before the break. As you heard from Dr. Nicholas tonight, the Costa Elementary pads are almost finished. The framing has started. You can expect it to go vertical in weeks. They're making plans for fall break. A variety of items may be occurring during fall break, cleaning, some repair work and whatnot. The solar panel cleaning is scheduled for the week of October 10th to the 14th. That'll be our first cleaning on a regular maintenance that we have. Staffing update. Our floater custodian started yesterday, one of 3. The second floater custodian is finishing his paperwork, so he's close. We have 1 floater custodian to fill and the warehouse custodial position left to fill for the maintenance operations department. And if I may, I'd like to thank the maintenance and operations team. This summer they had 2 less weeks to get everything finished due to the calendar changes. They got everything done. They brought all people in, and some of the maintenance team worked in the custodial team and vice versa to get everything finished this summer so that school could open as normal. So I'd like to thank Jimmy LeGrand and his team for the hard work they did this summer. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. LeGrand, I mean, by proxy. Item 10, action items. A, consider approval of 2022-2023 inter-district transfer requests. By tradition, there are no staff reports relating to these requests.
Move to approve 2022-2023 inter-district transfer requests.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote.
Aye.
Any additional discussion or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item B, consider approval to hire certificated employees on a variable term waiver, Veronica Kelly, special education teacher at Quest Elementary School, and Rachel Hartland, substitute teacher, Lammersville Unified School District. Staff report?
Yeah, we recommend using this variable term waiver process to bring these folks on board.
Move to approve the hire of certificated employees on variable term waiver.
Second.
Thank you. Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Any additional discussion or comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item C, consider approval to hire an employee on the basis of provisional internship permit. Haley Nunez, multiple subject credential, 4th grade, self-contained classroom teacher, Quest Elementary School, and I apologize if I mispronounce the name. Staff report?
Yeah, it's similar to action item B. This is a PIP, and we recommend approval.
Move to approve the hire an employee on the basis of a provisional internship permit, Haley Nunez, multiple subject credential, 4th grade, self-contained classroom teacher.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Boulay and a second by trustee Pombo, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Additional discussion or comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item D, consider approval of a second reading and adoption of updated Administrative Regulation 1230, School Connected Organizations. Staff report?
Yes, a while back, the board gave direction to staff to do an analysis of the administrative regulation related to the district's oversight of the financials tied to parent organizations, boosters, and the like. Staff brought back a recommendation through the AR 1230 to make 2 amendments, one around bonding capacity and the insurance policy, and one around communicating the leadership team for the next year, so we know who to contact if there's any issues. Those have been, there was a first read at the last board meeting. This is formal approval by the board.
Move to approve second reading and adoption of updated Administrative Regulation 1230, school-connected organizations.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Additional discussion or comment? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item E, consider approval of contract with ProCare Therapy for intensive individual services for the 2022-2023 school year. Total cost $75,761. Staff report?
Yes, this is the IEP-driven services provided to a student, and we strongly recommend approval.
Move to approve the contract with ProCare Therapy for intensive individual services for the 2022-2023 school year. Total cost $75,761.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second, a motion by trustee Boulay and a second by trustee Pombo, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Any additional discussion or comment?
I'd just like to ask a couple of clarifying questions of the superintendent. This contract is for an individual student, is that correct?
Correct.
And the funds for this contract come from the
general fund, correct.
Thank you, State of California. That is all. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item F, consider approval of contract with Summa Academy, LLC, a non-public school for specialized academic instruction for the 2022-2023 school year. Total cost $77,600. Staff report?
Yes, this is a non-public school learning opportunity for a single student through the IEP process. Recommend approval.
Move to approve contract with Summa Academy, LLC, a non-public school for specialized academic instruction for the 2022-2023 school year. Total cost $77,600.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Additional discussion or comment?
Just the same. You mentioned this is for an individual student, so I will forego that question. Second question, this also comes from the general fund, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item G, consider approval of agreement between Lammersville Unified School District and the California School Employees Association, Chapter 873, from July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2023. Staff report?
Yeah, this is a final step of a long ongoing process. It's formalizes through the board approval of this agreement. There's 2 sides to a negotiation settlement, the language side and the salary and benefits side. For the sake of this vote, you would be formalizing the agreement around the language. We have already brought reopeners on salary and benefits to the board, so the only thing to be talked about through June 30th, 2023 would be salaries and benefits. We recommend approval and thank the negotiating team on both CSEA's behalf and on our district.
Move to approve the agreement between the Lammersville Unified School District and the California School Employees Association, Chapter 873, from July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2023.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Boulay and a second by trustee Olson, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item H, consider approval to adjourn from regular session to open public hearing on the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials.
Move to adjourn from regular session to open public hearing on sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Additional discussion or comment? Well, there wouldn't be. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. We are now in public hearing on the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials. Is there anyone that would like to speak on the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials? I feel like Jeopardy should.
I was just thinking that.
I will now entertain a motion to close the public hearing and return to regular session.
Move to,
Oh,
go ahead.
No, I insist.
Move to close public hearing and return to regular session.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and a second by trustee Olson, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. I'm sorry, that was item I. Item J, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 22-23-01 regarding the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials. Staff report?
We recommend the board approve the resolution. We are sufficient with textbooks and instructional materials in our district.
Move to approve Governing Board Resolution 22-23-01 regarding the sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials.
Second.
Point of clarification, please. Does this item require a roll call vote? Thank you. Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
We will waive the voice vote and proceed directly to roll call vote, please.
Colin Clements,
Aye.
Stephanie Olson,
Aye.
Lisa Boulay,
Aye.
Benita Daniel,
Absent.
David Pombo.
Aye.
The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item K, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 22-23-02 regarding annual certification of independent study for the 2022-2023 school year. Staff report?
Yes, so this item allows us, through board approval, to verify that our independent study program is set up correctly so that we could do programs such as LEO and other programs of the like.
Move to approve the Governing Board Resolution 22-23-02 regarding annual certification of independent study for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
Again, point of clarification, this requires a roll call vote as well? Yes. Thank you. Based on a motion by trustee Boulay and a second by trustee Pombo, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Proceed directly to roll call vote, please.
Colin Clements,
Aye.
Stephanie Olson,
Aye.
Lisa Boulay,
Aye.
Benita Daniel,
Absent.
David Pombo.
Aye.
The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Item L, consider approval of contract with Every Special Child LLC for a special education teacher for the 2022-2023 school year. Total cost $98,175. Staff report?
Yeah, this allows us to fill a teacher need at a school site, and we strongly recommend approval.
Move to approve contract with Every Special Child LLC for a special education teacher for the 2022-2023 school year. Total cost $98,175.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Olson and a second by trustee Boulay, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. Thank you. Item 11, information and discussion item. A, board self-evaluation. Staff report?
Yes, every year the board goes through a very simple process of surveying itself on how they think the business of the board is going. We collect that information, share it with the board, and if they want to discuss any items on there or their thoughts, this would be the time.
Any questions, comments, concerns by the board? Okay, I actually have a comment. In general, if you look at the responses in general, the board had fairly consistent responses. In addition, the board felt that in general, the board was operating as a board should, which is what I would hope and expect. There were no outliers where one or more board members answered on one end of the spectrum and other board members answered on the complete other end of the spectrum. There was one question where a majority of the board did not feel that the board almost always behaves in an ideal manner, and that relates to the question of whether individual board members do not attempt to direct the superintendent. And as you know, as a longstanding board member and a board president, I wanted to call that out to my peers on the board, and because we as individuals cannot provide direction to the superintendent or anyone else, and I think we all know that. So if my peers see a situation where they feel that a board member we have a good enough relationship with Dr. Nicholas that if he felt that way, he would say, I believe that he would say, this is, happening. But if you feel that way, then by all means, reach out to the president, whoever that person is. But it was noteworthy to me that 3 board members said that at times an individual board member tries to provide direction, and that can't happen.
Can I address partially and honestly? I remember going back and forth on this question, and I honestly don't remember how I answered it. But part of my thought process was, I know what happens in a public meeting. I know what happens when we're in closed session, but I don't know what happens like in email format from one board member to the superintendent. So again, if I answered it as a 4 and not a 5, it was partially because I'm not privy to all of those personal communications.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's kind of what I can't remember how I voted either, but I remember feeling like I don't know how I say we do it 5 when I don't know exactly what somebody else may have communicated to Dr. Nicholas.
I'm glad I asked the question then, because that's one of those times where you have to have faith in that the superintendent is going to say, time out, whatever. But that tells me that the answer of 3 people saying, 3 people not answering, almost always, giving the board a 5, there was a reason for that, but it was fairly innocent, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right, and I think if that were reworded to say, I as an individual board member don't give direction individually to Dr. Nicholas, to the superintendent, I could answer a 5, because I know what my actions are, but I don't know, again, behind the scenes actions between 2 other people.
Fair enough. The reason it's not worded that way is like, let's say that I do it. I'm not going to say, right? I'm not going to say, yeah, I do it, right? And 3 board members could say, hey, we have a problem in this area.
Yeah,
but
true.
Okay, I felt like when I read through the answers, I wasn't concerned because it was still all 4s and 5s. But I was like, man, if there are board members that really feel like this happens less than very, like almost never, or more than almost never, then I felt like we should discuss it. Anyway, I don't need to take up any more time. I do appreciate your patience on that item. Item 12, calendar. A, Wednesday, September 14th, 2022, Safety Committee meeting at 3:45 p.m. here in the District Office Boardroom. Item B, Wednesday, September 21st, 2022, the next regular governing board meeting, 7 p.m. here in the District Office Boardroom. In a few minutes, we will be adjourning to closed session where we will be discussing the following. A, Public Employee Discipline Dismissal Release Complaint, Government Code Section 54957. B, consider approval of long-term leave of absence for 2 classified employees. C, conference with labor negotiators, Government Code Section 54957.6. Item D, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code Section 54956.8. Item E, conference with legal counsel on anticipated legal litigation, Government Code Sections 54956.9. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Based on a motion by Trustee Pombo and a second by Trustee Olson, student trustee preferential vote?
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries with 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent. We are now adjourned to closed session. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Returning from closed session to open session at 9:11 p.m. During closed session, the board took action on closed session item C. 1, consider approval leave of absence for classified employee number 130478 from August 4th, 2022 through 12/31/2022. The board took action on a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Olson to deny unpaid long-term leave of absence for classified employee number 130478 from August 4th, 2022 through December 31st, 2022 by the following vote. 4 ayes, no noes, 1 absent, and no abstentions. On item 2, consider approval leave of absence for classified employee number 130946 from August 4th, 2022 through October 31st, 2022. The board took action on a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Olson to deny unpaid long-term leave of absence for classified employee number 130946 from August 4th, 2022 through October 31st, 2022 by the following vote. 4 ayes, no noes, 1 absent, no abstentions. I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Based on a motion by trustee Pombo and seconded by trustee Olson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are now adjourned. Thank you.